Now on CBC Vancouver News.
Kind of panic and grab everything possible, throw it in the car and get out.
The rush to leave. People fleeing the wildfires surrounding Boston Bar anxiously wait for news as wildfire crews try to contain the flames. Plus, heat and air quality warnings blanket much of BC as those wildfires spew smoke.
It's bad enough we got the heat, but then the smoke makes it worse.
And BC signs on to a deal to let Canadian alcohol makers sell directly to drinkers outside their provinces. But how will it actually work?
What's going to happen, by the sounds of it, is we're going to see each province putting in a set of rules and stipulations, so a lot of red tape.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. Fire crews are nervously watching the situation near Boston Bar. 3 wildfires surround the Fraser Canyon community, all listed as wildfires of note, the latest sparking up Tuesday night. The CBC's Shelley Joyce has more on those told to get out and the worry of what's next.
Uh-oh. How bad is this? We've had fire all around us for almost 3 weeks now. And to get that notice.
It all happened at around 7 o'clock last night for Mark Smith when he got an emergency fire alert on his cell phone.
Notice came over the phone, get out now, and we have to go north, right through all the areas that literally burned to the ground in the last few days.
Smith knew he had no time to lose.
So, kind of panic and grab everything possible, throw it in the car and get out.
He lives in an area referred to as Canyon Alpine, just north of Boston Bar. When the loud, sustained siren-like noise went off last night at around dinner time, he worried about the seniors in his community.
We have a lot of elderly folks who don't have phones and don't know how to use them. So they are in some serious trouble.
Smith says first responders were rushing in to try and hustle everyone out.
We had first responders coming into Boston Bar at the same time as everybody else was getting out, and it's kind of hard to tell who's who sometimes. So they were moving at full speed trying to get everybody out.
Patricia Ross is with the Fraser Valley Regional District. They help residents who have been evacuated and stresses the danger of not following evacuation orders.
They absolutely must leave there. It's not just themselves they're putting at risk, it's their first responders as well. So this moves so fast, it's nothing to fool around with.
Morgan Blois speaks for the BC Wildfire Service. She says that with the hot, dry conditions in the Fraser Canyon, for the next 24 to 48 hours, with gusts of wind of up to 35 kilometers an hour tonight, the volatility of the fire may be too dangerous to fight.
Once we get into that rank 6 and rank 5 and rank 6 fire behavior, there's very few areas that are safe for first responders to be engaged in any direct attack. Our first priority is first responder and public safety at this time.
Highway 1 remains closed in the Fraser Canyon as crews brace for the worst. Shelley Joyce, CBC News, Kamloops.
Now, more than 80 wildfires continue to burn across the province as of Wednesday evening. Officials said the fire risk remains high with hot and dry conditions expected to last throughout the week. Our Jonna Bailon joins us again with more. Jonna, what are the other fires crews keeping an eye on?
Dan, there's the Bootleg complex of wildfires in the Kootenays. Those are 7 fires burning west of Kimberley. It includes the Matthew Creek Fire, which is more than 5.6 square kilometers large, and the Tower Creek Fire at 2.5 square kilometers. They have kept the entire town of Kimberley on evacuation alert. That's more than 8,000 people who have to be ready to leave on short notice. In the South Chilcotin, the Bonanza Creek Fire has also put an area north of Goldbridge under an evacuation alert. It's about 7 square kilometers large. And in the southern interior, the 59 Creek wildfire is about 100 square kilometers large, prompting an evacuation order for about 180 addresses around Big Bar Lake to the north of Clinton. An alert has also been expanded to cover areas including the village of Clinton. The BC Wildfire Service says the fire risk will stay high for the rest of the week.
Yeah, the weather just does remain hot and dry for a bit. What that does for for us necessarily is that the fire danger rating will likely become higher. So basically what that means is that the fire risk is more serious.
He says they expect temperatures to drop later in the week, though, and some moisture for coastal BC.
Jonna, with all these wildfires burning across the province, how are wildfire crews doing?
Pretty good, Van Kesteren says. He says more than 700 personnel are battling fires, along with structure protection units and helicopters. Overall, he says staff is prepared for this season.
All right. Jonna Bailon reporting from studio. Thank you. Let's bring in Darius Madavi for a first look at the weather, at some of the evacuations and alerts that Jonna was telling us about.
That's right. So let's zoom in here. Of course, we have the 59 Creek wildfire and an expanded evacuation order around Big Bar Lake as a result. If we take a look at some visuals from the Boston Bar fire, I also want to show you the perimeters there. This is imagery taken in Coquitlam, BC, so about 100 kilometers away from the Fraser Canyon last night. And you can just see that fire is generating its own weather, its own clouds. This is called a pyrocumulus, because of how intense the heat coming off those fires was. We do have high fire danger in the south. That will continue to be the case for the next little while. And as a result, we are likely going to continue to see enhanced fire behavior over the next couple days. If we zoom in here, I'm going to show you the fire perimeters and how much they've changed over the past 24 hours. So here we have the Ainslie Creek wildfire, the Brunswick Creek wildfire that unfortunately we're all too familiar with now, but also the Anderson Creek wildfire, which really just was created last night. Let's zoom in on the Ainslie Creek wildfire first. This one saw about 5% growth in the last 24 hours. The Brunswick Creek wildfire, more expansion, mostly downslope to the south and upslope to the west. But unfortunately, likely a fire brand, so a burning ember from the Brunswick Creek fire last night, just after 5 p.m., likely ignited this fire. This is the Anderson Creek wildfire. It grew extremely quickly. Although we can't say for sure, it is likely that a lot of that smoke that's been coming off of these fires, this fire complex, was caused by that Anderson Creek fire, which grew just very, very rapidly. Other fires I wanted to mention are near Pemberton. So, of course, Pemberton had that evacuation alert, was under evacuation alert because of that fire there close to the community. But now we're watching this Twin Creek wildfire, which actually has had a new perimeter updated just in the last little while. Bit of growth there today. Decent amount, actually, the last 24 hours. And down in the southeast, as we heard from Jonna there, we are also tracking these fires in the Bootleg complex. Now, Dan, the heat is here to stay for the next little while, next few days. So enhanced fire activity is expected.
Okay. Darius, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you can feel it outside, maybe inside, and you probably taste much of it across BC. Heat and air quality warnings are now in place across our province. As Saurabh Sandhu reports, you are urged to try to stay cool and check in on people who might be at risk.
To provide relief from the scorching sun, a cool mist falls over people lined up outside this support center in Surrey.
They got that on the tops of the building there, intentionally.
Environment Canada issued heat and air quality warnings for much of BC on Wednesday, made worse by wildfire smoke.
We've got an upper ridge that's well in control of the weather at the moment, so that's a dry, stable pattern. And it's basically not only creating heat warnings and associated high temperatures, but it's also, putting a lid on the pollutants.
The agency recommends people find cooler places to stay if they can, and to check on family, friends, and neighbors who are at higher risk.
It's bad enough we got heat, but then the smoke makes it worse.
You got to stay hydrated in weather like this, right? Especially with the fires that are out. You know, you can kind of smell it in the air.
People are reminded to keep windows closed and watch for symptoms like wheezing and chest pains.
We recommend to reduce or delay your outdoor activities, stay in a clean indoor shelter, and it's great if it's air conditioned and that has some air filtering in the system.
Several cities, including Surrey, Abbotsford and Chilliwack, have opened community centres, gyms and libraries as cooling centres. The Sums Place Society is doing the same.
We're handing out ice drinks. We're trying to make sure people have something to eat, checking on our neighbors, making sure people know where to go if they need air conditioning, if they need a place to stay where they can get clean air.
Environment Canada says a cooling trend is expected to begin Thursday. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
Those sweltering temperatures have descended on much of Vancouver Island as well, prompting a heat warning from Environment Canada and Island Health. As Claire Palmer shows us, many are seeking relief at the beach, but remain cautious about the risks.
It is hot in Nanaimo, with temperatures forecasted to hit as high as 34 degrees on Wednesday. Many are headed to the beach to beat the heat.
It's just hard to keep cool. I put sunscreen on and it's already feeling like it's burning my skin.
The hot summers appear to be getting hotter.
We do sunscreen, we do water, we do popsicles, stay in the shade, wear our hats. All that stuff is a time to teach the kids how to stay cool and safe in the heat.
So how are you guys staying cool today?
Ice cream!
Is the ice cream tasty?
Yes.
Downtown Nanaimo, one local business says the heat is keeping people away. Red's Bakery closed their doors Wednesday, not because it's too hot inside, but because the heat outside means fewer people coming downtown.
During the heat wave that we're going through, we're seeing very little people come through. We closed at 3 o'clock yesterday, and there was nobody down here when I left at 3 o'clock. So we made the other decision to close today just because we want to all be safe down here and make sure that everybody doesn't get worn out and tired from the heat.
According to Island Health, the high temperatures mean everyone is at risk for heat-related illness, but especially those with chronic conditions, kids, and the elderly, with officials trying to get the word out to be aware and be safe.
Even just the early signs and symptoms, so feeling unwell, you might have a headache, a little bit dizzy, but some of the more severe symptoms, and these are the ones we get more concerned about, are mostly related to heat exhaustion or heat stroke. So heavy sweating, severe headache, muscle cramps, extreme thirst, and even confusion, fainting, rapid breathing.
Juan says check in with friends and family, especially those at risk, and when in doubt, stay indoors, find a cool spot, and check out community spaces like libraries to access air conditioning. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Nanaimo.
To other news now, BC is among 9 provinces that have reached a deal to allow Canadian brewers, wineries, and distillers to sell directly to Canadian drinkers outside their home provinces. But as Katie DeRosa explains, some in BC's alcohol sector are wary of the coming details.
Canada's tight restrictions on selling booze across provincial borders harkens back to the Prohibition era, when the War Measures Act banned provincial trade of intoxicating liquors. More than a century later, BC wine, beer, and spirit producers say it's about time to let the booze flow freely.
BC wineries have been asking for this for many, many years, probably over 20 years.
Doug Bell from the Northern Lights Winery in Prince George says in theory it could mean BC wineries have access to more customers across Canada. But he says the devil is in the details.
I'm really curious to see how this shakes out and how open the governments allow wine to be.
The president of the Craft Distillers Guild of BC says some provinces were already turning a blind eye, with BC distilleries and wineries shipping across provincial borders, even when it was technically not allowed. He says the agreement reached between BC and 8 other provinces for direct-to-consumer sales sounds good politically, but could add costs for small alcohol producers and customers.
What's going to happen, by the sounds of it, is we're going to see each province putting in a set of rules and stipulations, so a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy of registration of products, which will end up costing millions of dollars.
The deal was inked during a meeting of Canadian premiers in Charlottetown, PEI. It's part of a larger effort to break down interprovincial trade barriers as the trade war with the U.S. heats up. And President Donald Trump threatens to slap new 50% tariffs on Canadian goods. Premier David Eby has ruled out lifting the ban on U.S. liquor from BC government-run liquor stores.
And we need to be frank with the Americans that they will not get the kind of access that they seek to what's in Canada if this is how the conduct's going to go.
BC says it will allow companies to sell directly to consumers by February. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
When bears get too close to people in BC, the animals are often killed. But is that always needed? Tara Carmen shares the experience a group of kids had with a bear in Metro Vancouver recently. You'll want to stick around for this. A man accused of killing a BC Mountie has been found unfit for trial by BC's review board and now ordered to be held in custody. The ruling will keep John Wong Ham, I should say, at the Forensic Psychiatric Hospital in Coquitlam for at least 1 year. Ham is charged in the killing of Constable Shaylin Yang. She was stabbed to death nearly 4 years ago when she tried to speak with a man inside a tent in Burnaby's Broadview Park. Last Tuesday's hearing was Ham's first public assessment since a BC Supreme Court judge found him unfit to stand trial in April. Police on the Sea to Sky are investigating 2 fires in Lions Bay they say are considered suspicious.
The house fully engulfed. It was like a fully involved fire. So like as soon as you walk out the house, you can feel the heat, the roar of the flame, very large and very obvious that like even from afar that this wasn't the house that was going to be saved.
Firefighters responded to a home engulfed in flames just after 4 o'clock Sunday morning. Shortly after, they were sent to a car on fire about 3 kilometers south. Police say they believe the two fires are connected. Nobody was hurt in either blaze. A community on Burnaby Mountain was recently shaken up when a black bear approached a group of children in a park and helped itself to their lunches. Bears showing such behavior are normally killed. But as the CBC's Tara Carmen tells us, the parent of one of those children is asking the BC government if that's always necessary.
It's not unusual to see black bears in this Burnaby neighborhood, but it is terrifying when they approach small children at a park and steal their lunch. Caregiver Lucy Pessel was at the park, the bear hidden behind a bench. When a man came to alert them of the bear, meters from where the children were playing, she immediately invoked the group's bear protocol.
Us calling did not deter him at all. It was very interested in what we were doing once we made the noise. And so it did not deter him. He did not stop him from coming up here.
Pessel got the kids out via this path, fast. Video of the incident was soon posted to Facebook, where a debate unfolded about the consequences of calling wildlife officials.
It always devolves into like a don't report, because if you report it, the bears are going to get killed.
Nicole Gladdish's 4-year-old son was there when the bear approached. She called the BC Conservation Officer Service to ask if relocating such bears is possible.
Essentially, when it's escalated, they just end up killing the bears, unfortunately. And I asked why, and she said because the research has shown that the relocation is just ineffective, which as a researcher, I was like, okay, I'll go look.
Gladdish, an epidemiologist at Stanford University, decided to review the most up-to-date research. She found evidence suggesting that while moving nuisance adult black bears isn't always effective, it's a different story for juveniles under the age of 4 who haven't yet established a home range. One Ontario study found 2- and 3-year-old male bears were unlikely to return if relocated 30 to 64 kilometers. And it wasn't an isolated finding.
The consensus is so secure on relocating subadult bears and the success of that it is in textbooks, which is a sign that it is pretty established.
Gladdish took the research to the BC government and asked if they'd consider a pilot project to relocate younger bears in high conflict areas. She didn't get an answer, and we asked for an interview with the BC Conservation Officer Service. We got a statement from the Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship saying moving young bears is unfeasible because survival rates of transported bears are lower and moving them simply moves the problem, which they say is mainly due to humans leaving attractants like food and garbage where bears can get them. Their policies also say moving wildlife that come into conflict with humans, quote, should not require the province to incur financial costs. So in this community, the debate continues. Tara Carmen, CBC News, Burnaby.
Smoke blanketing the mountains on Kootenay Lake. The view of the Big Orange Bridge, known locally as Bob. Darius will have your BC-wide weather forecast and the wildfire update coming up.
I think it's important to give a human face to the stories that we hear every day, the people that they affect. And I think talking to those people is what really gives us the true sense of the impact of the stories that we're hearing.
Help.
It is day 2 of the Premier's meeting in Charlottetown, where healthcare, national unity, and public safety were up for discussion. But as Kate McKenna explains, trade tensions with the U.S. were still top of mind.
Canada's premiers say they're united in the face of a fresh wave of tariff threats from U.S. President Donald Trump. Today, they say they spoke about how to make the economy stronger, to make it more resilient, regardless of what happens south of the border.
We met at a time when Canadians are looking to their governments for leadership. And as the recent announcement of new U.S. tariffs has shown, we're living in a time when uncertainty is the new norm.
Premiers say they talked about improving healthcare, national unity, economic growth, workers, and Arctic sovereignty and security. On this second day of meetings, they worked to wrestle the agenda to talk about domestic issues other than trade. But in a joint communique, they say they want to keep being updated by the federal government as trade talks progress. Meanwhile, some premiers disagreed on how the federal government should proceed. Ontario's manufacturing sector could be hit hard by new tariffs. The premier is calling for Canada to punch back with dollar-for-dollar tariffs, and he says he wants other leaders to be more vocal.
We need a Team Canada approach led by the Prime Minister, and if he doesn't want to lead it with the other premiers, then I can't do it alone. I feel some days that I'm standing alone protecting Canada, and I need everyone else to get on side.
The premiers will meet with the Prime Minister tomorrow, where tariffs will once again be on the agenda. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford says he wants to see a clear plan from Ottawa about what comes next. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Now, the architect of Trump tariff policies has provided a clearer look at what's in store for Canada. Jamieson Greer went before a U.S. Senate committee looking into trade practices just days after Donald Trump threatened a 50% tariff on some Canadian goods. Julia Wong now with how Greer defends that move.
U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer in the hot seat Wednesday as senators grilled him about U.S. President Donald Trump's approach to trade, including the 50% tariff the president vows to slap on certain Canadian goods. Some senators arguing the president has lost the plot, imposing tariffs on the U.S.'s closest neighbor, saying businesses in their states are suffering because of Trump's tariff roller coaster. Others wondering how the 50% tariff will solve the issue of American booze no longer found on Canadian shelves.
The question that I've got for you is, now that pressure has been applied, what will come next? What do you anticipate to be the next step? How do we get the Canadians to put Jack Daniels back on their shelves?
We really value our relationship with Canada, both emotionally and financially and economically. In the way the tariffs have changed constantly, and recently, just I think 2 days ago, the president has announced new tariffs that may go into effect. People just don't know what to count on, and it's hurting us badly.
Greer is standing by the proposed 50% tariffs, arguing Canada discriminates against American vehicles, has in many provinces banned the sale of U.S. alcohol, and given other trading partners better deals than the U.S. on dairy. He maintains he's trying to rebalance the trade relationship.
We have tried for over a year to get the Canadians to eliminate these things. Again, we've given them the best treatment available in the world in the past year or so, and despite that, they've still taken these actions, so we thought it was necessary to elevate this.
And when it comes to CUSMA renegotiations, we're getting a better sense of a timeline. Greer didn't give any specific dates, but he did say he hopes to have options for leaders of all three countries to consider by the end of the year. That timing notable, coming after November's midterm elections. Julia Wong, CBC News, Washington.
Now, the ongoing trade war with the U.S. has pushed many Canadian businesses to diversify and refocus on markets in Europe and Asia. Some expect an even harder shift amid Trump's latest threats. Sharon Yonan-Reynolds now on how the companies that have made that switch and the challenges of replacing the Americans as a main trading partner.
Aluminum to agricultural products, just a few of the Canadian industries turning increasingly to the east. The federal government says that Canadian exports to the U.S. dropped almost 4% last year, while exports to non-U.S. markets increased by 11%. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says it expects an even harder shift amidst the Trump administration's latest threats of 50% tariffs.
Half of small businesses have managed to diversify some of their trade away from the U.S. market. And that's primarily within Canada. Beyond that, a good chunk of businesses are diversifying their markets or sources of supply in Asia and in Europe.
It's the new reality for this Quebec-based hockey stick manufacturer. As tariffs pushed prices for U.S. customers up, Force Hockey refocused on Western Canada and Europe, and they're just beginning.
I think in the future, we will have to take a decision if we stop directly to ship to USA and we want to expand some other new market like New Zealand.
Uncertainty on the Canada-U.S. trade relationship looms. Still, the two countries' supply chains are interlinked through geography and a decades-long trade relationship. Even for industries like aluminum, which in the last year redirected about a quarter of previously U.S.-destined shipments to other provinces and Europe. The Aluminum Association of Canada says even amid U.S.-imposed tariffs, American demand for Canadian aluminum remains robust. And while that's unlikely to change, there's growing uncertainty surrounding how long American importers will foot that extra cost.
At some point in time, this means that there will be some pushback from the buyers because the ticket price will be too high.
Simard says while he does expect an increased drive towards market diversification, it's unlikely to fully replace the USA as Canada's main trading partner. Sharon Yonan-Reynolds, CBC News, Montreal.
As we've heard, it's been more than a year since provinces like BC and Ontario removed American booze from their shelves, all in the wake of Trump's first wave of tariffs. That ban remains an irritant to the U.S., but is it worth it? Eli Glasner takes a look.
There is not a chance in hell that U.S. alcohol is going back on the shelf.
If he continues to constantly bully us, we can't keep rolling over. We can't keep backing down.
New tariffs or not, provincial premiers are not backing down.
But with the U.S. booze ban cited as a major irritant in trade talks, how much has it hurt U.S. businesses?
The ban started last February when 8 provinces began clearing shelves and restricting the import of U.S. alcohol. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, between 2024 and 2025, wine exports from the U.S. to Canada fell by $343 million. That's a 77% drop. And a recent study found U.S. exports for wine, distilled spirits, and beer plummeted from $744 million to $208 million, a 72% decrease or a $536 million loss. A big hit for states depending on Canadian customers.
It's hurting us and it's hurting our industry. And I have the Finger Lakes wineries in my region. I have a lot of great spirits manufacturers.
So, was it worth it?
I'm not sure the ban was that effective.
David Soberman is a marketing professor.
I don't think it really convinced the Americans or the current American administration to change anything.
He's skeptical about the effectiveness of the ban and says some Canadians are still getting around it.
I think that for the most part, people have continued to buy the products that they want, and many of us, certainly people who are very committed to, for example, drinking bourbon, might have actually just driven across the border and purchased it and then come back.
Soberman thinks if the ban was dropped, Canadians would go from elbows to bottoms up.
The thing that makes the liquor market so interesting is there's so many different kinds. I think you will see the American products will pick up their sales to where they were before.
On the streets of Toronto, some are certainly ready for the ban to be over.
Because I like the bourbon.
And you miss it?
Well, I travel to States a lot, so I bring it back. So I have been hoarding my own stash.
There are certain brands that I like. The taste is very particular.
While others are holding firm.
I think we have a lot of good Canadian options.
I would stick up for Canada and not buy it.
I've boycotted kind of like the Trump administration.
But public policy professor Drew Fagan says President Trump didn't give Canada much of a choice.
I mean, the question is, has it done more harm than good?
Donald Trump is at this stage going to take offense at anything.
So you're saying if it wasn't a ban on booze, it would be some other way of pushing back that would just upset Washington?
Look, I don't think governments in Canada could withstand political pressure to not do anything. On the one hand, you don't want to bait the bear. On the other hand, sometimes a bully needs to be, sort of hit in the nose a little bit.
He says, well, the new tariffs haven't come into effect. Pay attention to what Trump is targeting.
He imposed tariffs on hockey sticks. How big is the market for hockey sticks in the United States? It's symbolic.
While leaving alone critical minerals and energy, where he still needs Canadian cooperation.
CBC's Eli Glasner. The federal government has released details of its agreement with the U.S. on the Gordie Howe International Bridge that spanned between Windsor and Detroit at the center of political tension in recent months. The deal says that for the first 15 years, once operating costs are covered, Canada will split half of the bridge's revenues with an economic development fund that's controlled solely by the U.S. The agreement appears to conflict with the Prime Minister's earlier comments about the deal. It also conflicts with the original agreement from a decade ago, which said Canada would split toll revenue with Michigan once Canada's bridge debts were paid. Canada paid in full for the $6.4 billion structure, but the new text does not mention Canada's debt. The bridge is officially set to open July 27th. Ottawa said it will celebrate the opening without the U.S. as planned in light of Trump's latest round of tariff threats. Coming up, dangerous and destructive tornadoes are hitting with greater frequency, with some western provinces facing the brunt of that damage. More on the record tornado season coming up. Environment Canada now confirms that 2 tornadoes touched down in central Alberta on Saturday. Western provinces are bearing the brunt of what's shaping up to be a record tornado season. Joe Horwood shows us the heartbreaking damage and why the numbers are rising.
There's trees laying on the roof.
When a tornado hits, it can change lives.
Yeah, underneath there's a backyard fire pit. We used to sit there and roast wieners and have a good time.
This season, more tornadoes than usual are being counted from Alberta to Quebec.
If it continues on like it has been the last several months, we're looking at a record season here, particularly the prairies.
The Northern Tornadoes Project says Canada has seen 83 tornadoes this season, 70 of those in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta.
Well above the 30-year average for those provinces. In Alberta's case, it's like almost 3 times.
He says higher moisture levels are adding fuel to storms, as a heat dome over the U.S. provides the lift required to create a tornado.
So yeah, you don't get the fires, you get the thunderstorms and tornadoes instead, right?
Environment and Climate Change Canada says better reporting of tornadoes is one likely reason for the increase.
Everybody has cell phones now, so there's more social media reports than ever before. So I think we're actually documenting more tornadoes. Not that there's actually more than there was previously, but we're able to find them.
The Northern Tornadoes Project is using that data to improve tornado risk assessment.
From where it come from, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. And to advocate for better warning systems, along with changes to building codes.
That will better keep the roof on a house, better connections between the roof and the walls.
That could prevent more Canadians from losing their homes.
It's disheartening, but nobody's injured, so that's the main thing.
As tornado season peaks this month, Canadians should expect to see more alerts and possibly more cleanups. Joe Horwood, CBC News, Calgary.
This weather update is brought to you by Elections BC. Local elections are this fall. There are rules for advertising, and Elections BC is here to help.
Darius Madavi, our science and climate specialist, is here with the BC-wide weather forecast, and that map it's actually pulsating.
Yeah, that's the heat coming in and out. Now, I will note that the heat has actually been suppressed in some parts of the interior because of all the smoke blocking some of that solar radiation from coming down. And we will have a look at the smoke in a moment, but I want to zoom out first, mention all those heat warnings we have in place. Many of those coming down by tomorrow, if not most of them. But we have seen some very hot temperatures today, including here on the coast, where the humidity has also been a factor. Unfortunately, significantly less humidity in the interior. Humidity would actually help in terms of some of that fire activity, reducing it a little bit. We also have some thunderstorms up in the far northeastern corner of the province. Those have mostly moved out and were more confined than they might have been. I was worried about some popping up in the piece, and while it's not out of the question into the evening, it does seem a little bit less likely now. Hopefully no new fire starts there. Luckily, not one of the places I would be most concerned about, but fire danger is elevated across BC, so not out of the question. I also am going to remove the other weather alerts now and just talk about the air quality warnings that are, I think it's fair to say, blanketing British Columbia. Not the vast majority, but I'd say almost a majority of the province is covered by those air quality warnings. Some places more severely affected than others. I do want to show you an image of the Fraser Canyon. This is a satellite image from earlier today. This is from this morning when NASA's satellite passed overhead. These orange dots are heat detections from this morning. I can note that I have looked at more recent thermal imagery, and unfortunately, the Anderson Creek fire putting off significantly more heat this afternoon than it was this morning. But just look at how that canyon and really all those little crevices around it just being choked by smoke. The only way you can see the canyon's there at all is because that's where the smoke is sitting. And if we zoom out a little bit, you'll also notice just how far that smoke is extending over into the Thompson-Nicola region, and unfortunately likely to expand even further, potentially into places like the Caribou into tomorrow. Also, some smoke that's going to be coming up from south of the border and being put off from some other fires in other regions, potentially like the Chilcotin. Temperatures do come down a bit in the next couple days, but probably not too much for the southern interior, at least until the weekend, when we do have some precipitation on the way. And that should be good news. Unfortunately, most of it not coming to the southern interior. That would be great. Fingers crossed, things could change a little bit in the days ahead, Dan, but we do have some thunderstorms possible in the southern interior tomorrow, unless they get suppressed by that smoke. And here's our 5-day forecast. Some rain coming in this weekend.
Okay, Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Teachers in a Nova Scotia First Nation say their privacy is at risk after facial recognition scanners were installed in the schools. The CBC's Ethan Hunt explains why and looks at what their union is doing.
Since the spring, teachers and assistants in Eskasoni First Nation have been required to scan in and out every day by looking at an electronic tablet on the wall, which calls up their picture, full name, and recent attendance record. The technology is shown here in this video from the company Sinerion WFM. The teachers union says anyone walking by can see the screen, and that's an invasion of privacy.
We have really serious concerns that need to be addressed.
He says the scanner is made in the U.S., and the union is worried about secure storage of its members' biometric data.
They're very concerned about privacy. 123 of our members have filed formal letters with the employer to withdraw consent of using this system.
Teacher Chris Gallant is also on the union executive. He says the machines sometimes misread a face and show someone else's information.
We have 5 documented incidents of that happening. So that's a major concern. It's a data breach as far as we're concerned.
The Eskasoni School Board wrote a response to the union about their concerns in June. They say they implemented this method to improve their efficiency and to have their attendance as accurate as possible. They also say the text company doesn't have access to their personal information, and only management at the school board can access it. The board says they will continue to use the biometric clock system. Gallant says the union is asking them to pause it.
We're expected to take attendance for as many as 30 students in the first 5 minutes of class, 5 times a day. So, why can't, we don't use a machine, why can't someone take our attendance the same way?
In an email, the Nova Scotia Department of Education says Eskasoni controls its schools, and the province has no intention of exploring biometric scanners in its facilities. Neither the Eskasoni School Board nor the band's chief returned CBC's multiple requests for comment. Ethan Hunt, CBC News, Sydney.
Canada is in the middle of a primary care crisis with millions of adults not having access to a regular family doctor. Ottawa expects that gap to only widen in the years ahead, but a new initiative in Toronto is trying a solution that could be a blueprint for Ontario and beyond. Tyler Cheese explains.
What if the solution to Ontario's family doctor shortage isn't about finding more doctors, but about finding more support for the ones we already have?
Because of the system, we're doing a whole bunch of different things. We're not just practicing medicine, we're doing a lot of administrative forms and time spent, all these things that keep building on us.
To help family doctors see more patients, the Midwest Toronto Ontario Health Team launched 2 new programs. First, hiring onboarding nurses to handle time-consuming paperwork like vaccine and medical histories before a patient's first visit. And second, giving solo or smaller practices access to a shared program of dietitians, social workers, and therapists similar to the Family Health Team model. The result? More than 15,000 people have now been connected with a family doctor.
It's amazing. I feel so giddy when I talk about it, and when I share it with my colleagues and say, you can have access to this dietitian, or you can, your patients can be onboarded this way.
It's an approach already expanding far beyond Toronto's West End.
We're really proud in the Midwest Toronto OHT because our supported attachment model that I was talking about, it's been a model that is funded and now is funded across the province.
That funding comes from $22 million the Ministry of Health allocated last year to help all 58 Ontario health teams roll out similar patient matching programs of their own. And health policy experts say these new models are essential.
I love that they have this onboarding nurse to help people more efficiently take on new patients. We've seen in provinces like Nova Scotia that kind of initiative really make a difference and allow doctors to more rapidly take on new patients.
But at the same time, she says addressing Ontario's crisis long-term will also take broader systemic solutions.
We need to train more family doctors, more doctors in general, more nurses, more nurse practitioners. I think we need to make family medicine more attractive. That includes like conferring the respect that that profession is due, ensuring that, it's paid adequately.
She says that kind of support will not only convince current family doctors to stick around, but could also help recruit the new doctors Ontario desperately needs. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
Hated by some, loved by others. Yes, it's pickleball. Now the Tsawwassen First Nation is playing host to a massive new venue and competition. We'll hit the courts next.
.org.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
Come celebrate Pride with us on August 2nd at the 48th Annual Vancouver Pride Parade. You can also come by the CBC tent and win some swag at the Davie Village Pride Party. Details at vancouverpride.ca. And CBC and Parks Canada are bringing free screenings of Indigenous stories to communities across BC. Details at cbc.ca/BC Community.
Canada's largest indoor pickleball facility is throwing open its doors in BC. It's located on Tsawwassen First Nation land. And as Stephen Chua shows us, it's starting things off with a bang.
The noise inside is going to cause quite the racket. At 29 courts, the Nest is welcome news for those hoping to find a place to play pickleball.
We are Canada's largest purpose-built indoor facility.
We're at 80,000 square feet.
And its very first players are going to be some of the best in the burgeoning sport. It's opening its doors for Pickleball BC's provincial championships. The construction of this giant facility is the latest effort to meet the insatiable demand for this game.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in Canada.
Pickleball Canada estimates there are 1.8 million people playing the sport nationwide. That's up from 1.5 million last year, representing a 14% growth. Demand has been so high, it's been hard finding places to play in some parts of the Lower Mainland. Vancouver is one example.
If you've gone to play at Queen Elizabeth or Jericho, anytime you're waiting up to an hour to get a court, the courts are absolutely full and jammed.
Aside from a new space to play, the facility will offer coaching sessions from Steve Deacon, a pro-Canadian pickleball player.
We're going to have an incredible Learn to Play program.
Another unique feature of the facility is also its location. It's on Tsawwassen First Nation land.
They luckily have this Tsawwassen Mills shopping center here on their lands, and there was excess space on their parking lots that we were able to develop this space on through a lease.
The nation says there may be economic upsides.
Good benefit for Tsawwassen First Nation because it's a draw for people.
The pickleball facility pays rent to the nearby shopping mall, Tsawwassen Mills. The mall then pays the nation a lease. Local pickleball associations say it may help with demand, but there are some downsides.
The Nest is a for-profit venture. It's not a public court system.
It has no space for outdoor play, and for people outside of Delta, it's a long drive.
It's not about being able to go to a world-class facility 45 minutes down the road. It's being able to play a couple of times a week with your neighbors and friends and family in your neighborhood.
For the operators at the Nest, they feel the drive will be worth it. Stephen Chua, CBC News, Tsawwassen.
Thank you for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube, and of course our website, cbc.ca/BC. We'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. See you then.